What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Optimal EV. In this video, we're going to be doing a full build guide and rundown on the all-new 2023 BMW iX M60.
The iX M60 will be delivered this month, the first one. This is going to be very similar to our iX50 video, but this will be the M performance model of the iX. So it will be a little faster, but have a little bit less range. So if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump into the build.
All right, so as per usual, here we are on the builder page. As you can see, the top option is the regular xDrive 50, and then the bottom is the iX M60. So major differences here are about a little under 100 more horsepower, a range of 274 to 288 miles, which is a little bit less than the regular iX, and then a 0 to 60 of 3.6 seconds, so almost a full second faster.
Yeah, and then we also have a big price jump, obviously, going from $84,100 to $108,900. Now, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because the price difference isn't just the power difference. It actually includes almost every single option you can get on the 50 that we went over in our previous video. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. So all those options are going to be included in the iX M60. Just from first glimpse, you are going to notice that the wheels, the design of the car is going to be a little different because the sport package is standard on the M60. Like we talked about before, the lights, they're red on the standard, but the M Sport has that like grayed outlook, which was really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really good standard features that they include on this car, but we will definitely go over details on them right away.
Yep. And for those of you who haven't seen the last one, just the range, the reason they show a spread is because if you change up your rims and tires,
right,
just like other vehicles we reviewed in the past. All right, so here's the first glimpse. You're going to see just the styling of the car. The M Sport package gives you a little bit more of aggressive front and those grayed out lights.
For sure.
Some sweet wheels.
I think it looks really clean. I really like the way that the front of the car looks. I like those black kind of like wings on the sides of the grills. I think that looks really good.
Yeah, it makes it look nice. And also we have the self-healing grill, which we've talked about before. If you ever get any micro scratches on it, it's pretty unique that it will actually heal them with the sun.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
The wheels look good. I like them definitely more than the regular iX wheels. So
yeah, we have a lot of color options here. Alpine white, only non-metallic, black sapphire, which is probably the best looking color on the car.
Yeah, I think there's also, it's just with the lights, you know what I mean? When they gray out the lights in the back, it just goes so well with darker colors.
Yeah, no matter what the front looked like, the back would just be so insane.
Yeah, and there's a lot of black trim all over the car that I think just goes so well with this.
Yeah, and something unique I haven't noticed from BMW is actually the badging. See how it's kind of blacked out, the badges?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then we have dark graphite, mineral white, which is the metallic white, Phytonic blue, Blue Ridge Mountain metallic, not my favorite, oxide gray, and then your extra cost options, which would be the Storm Bay metallic, which is $19.50.
Apparently a trending look according to BMW, so
Yep.
It looks like this is definitely one of their most common.
Yeah, it's cool. They give you little recommendations. And then Aventurine red, which is the red that was promoted on the 50 that we saw. Tons of options, nice colors. I like the red and the black.
Yeah, like I said, I think anything dark that goes along with the already dark trims on the car looks super good. But honestly, there isn't really a bad option here.
Yeah, the only thing that looks kind of out of place with the black is the wheels. Darker wheels you definitely need on that, which I think they do offer. Not fully black, but close to it.
Yeah, and now speaking of wheels, you can see there are a ton more options here for you. You can change them up however you like.
Yep, and you'll also notice there's no more run flats on these. So a lot of BMWs in the past, people have complained about run flats, but on the iX, they don't offer it due to range increase. So, because I think run flats are a little heavier. You'll see we have 21s. These are the performance, 21 all seasons. Another version of the 21 performance ones, which are a little darker.
Yep. The other option as we move down here, as you can see, goes to 22s. And there is a pretty fancy trim on these cars. There's like a bronze trim on these. And I honestly think this looks so good. It also looks like it changes the trim on the car itself right above it.
Yeah, so you get more bronze around the side here, which was black before. And then you also get some bronze in the front healing grille. So
yeah, this looks nuts.
Nice accents, yeah.
This looks really good. And then the last two options we have are 22 inches as well, but they're the Aero bicolor wheels as well as the Aero bicolor wheels that are just darker, the dark version.
Yeah, those look really good, especially with the black.
Honestly, there's not really any ugly options for these wheels. I think it's more so just a matter if you want 21s or 22s. And obviously, they mark it, which is really nice, that range does change depending on which option you go with. There's a lot of car companies on their builder pages that don't explicitly tell you the range as you change the wheels. They just kind of give you, a generic, anywhere from 280 to 300, and you don't really get an exact idea of what you should be expecting from that. So I do appreciate that BMW does that here.
Yeah, especially like obviously not everyone is building a ton of these electric cars, but just from what we realize, we know as soon as we see the range and if they show a different version like all-wheel drive or different tires,
Right.
if it only changes like 1 mile, it's not true. It has to be a drastic difference between the two. So just make sure you always look out for that and make sure you know what range you're actually getting on the car.
Yep. Next, we are going to move on to the interior of the car, which, just like the iX, this interior is really clean. I love the simplicity. I love that open front center console area, and then classic BMW seats, which look very comfortable and pretty luxurious, to be honest.
Yeah, and this is the Sensitech option, which is like the pleather or the, all the other versions of the pleather that they call it. We have the Oyster, the Mocha, and the Black. I think they kind of went not to Tesla's simplicity, but they kind of took some stuff from there, made it a little more simplistic, and then also kept some BMW, styling points to it.
Yeah.
Took from a bunch of brands. You'll see the seat controls got moved to the side of the door, which we've talked about before, which is kind of what Mercedes does.
Yep.
So I think there's different characteristics from all brands in this.
Yeah, you could argue that both brands, Mercedes and BMW, are trying to introduce a very long front screen along that dash. So they're both going towards that, idea of a centralized center console area. I think as far as the seats go, you are right. They keep them very basic, but they still have a touch of BMW on there. Obviously, not comparing to something like the i7 that we just covered. Those seats are,
Insane.
meant for sleeping and more so than driving kind of thing.
Yeah, and what's nice is they still keep a couple buttons for you. So if you're someone who really likes to have some of the buttons, you have it down here. You have the front windshield defroster and rear windshield defroster still in the hazards, but all the other climate stuff has been brought into the screen where the climate menu button is there. So
make or break for some people, but that's where we're heading with it.
Especially with EVs. Next, you'll see we have the Amido, which is going to be the actual leather. It also brings the titanium into the front there. So this is like a blackish gray almost, which is cool. It's a nice color. Definitely go with the all black outside. Next, we have the Castanea Chestnut, if that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive option for perforated leather, but honestly, it looks really nice. I definitely think this is something worth sitting in and feeling for yourself to make sure it's something you want before you just, go ahead and order it online.
100%. It's a nice color, though.
Yep. Next up, we have trim options. So as you can see, there is literally one, just the titanium bronze, which I think looks really good, especially if you're going with the wheel option that allows you to have bronze on the outside and the inside. This could be a really special looking car.
Yeah, and I think that the bronze really goes with any kind of leather choice. Like a lot of times, when you're choosing trims, you always have to see what kind of goes with that leather color or Sensitech color. But in this case, it looks great no matter what.
Yeah, it looks really good. Next up, we have options. So there is one option here. It is the executive package. That's going to cover a few things here. So starting off, we have the glass and wood controls. So that's your center console, but it has been revamped so that you have, that crystallized or the glass, the little dial in the middle, as well as wood behind it. The wood, I know that we love the wood.
Yeah, it looks really nice. The one thing I did notice, I got the chance to sit in one of these, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
And the glare from the circle on the crystal circle,
crazy.
It's insane. If you're at the wrong angle, it is almost blinding while you're driving. So
wow.
Just something to think about if you're someone who really, is worried about that.
Yeah.
Then definitely go with the standard.
It's kind of contradicting too because the wood is supposed to, maybe remove glare or remove smears from the fingerprints and all of that, but then you have a big...
It definitely looks amazing though.
Yeah.
And then we have soft close doors, which is, super convenient.
Yep.
As long as you don't have kids just slamming it nonstop.
Right. You'll definitely, it's something you got to get used to, but seems like a nice thing to have.
Traffic jam assist, which will actually let it so that the car's cruise control will drive for you in traffic, stop and go. The lane keeping assistant with the side collision avoidance.
Yep, they've had that before.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much standard for the rest of this. Active cruise control, the parking assistant, which if you've missed by chance us explaining that, you can basically park your car in a very specific way, like all the way up your driveway and into your garage, and then have it the car can memorize that so that it can back all the way out for you.
Yep, and also do parallel and perpendicular parking as well.
Yep. Active Driving Assistant Pro, which is like your highway driving. As you can see, it even gives you a full menu to look at that.
But, it's just like your normal active cruise control. There's nothing, super intense except for it lets you merge lanes as well. Next, we have our another trim option. This is the exterior trim that goes along with those wheels. So if you don't get those wheels, you still have the option to get the individual trim.
Right.
So you can choose that right here.
Vice versa, you can opt out. If that's not something you're looking for on the outside of the car, this gives you the option to remove it.
And then last, you'll see the BMW blue seatbelts. So it's the signature BMW I color, as we have right there. What that will do is, if you do add this, it's going to make it so that you get rid of the leather and you have to get the black perforated Sensitech. So you won't have the option to get the leather with that package.
I think it's super weird to just get bright blue seatbelts.
Yeah.
But I suppose if that's the look you're going for and that's what you love, then have at it.
Yeah, let's see if they actually update it. Yep, so they show it on the site. It does look a little out of place, especially with the bronze.
Yeah, I just don't think it goes well with what's inside of the car. I mean, typically a bright blue seatbelt kind of looks like super aftermarket to me, and I don't know.
Yeah, almost like a race car where they added in.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the i3 it looked okay with because there was different kind of materials all over the car, but in this case, it is a little out of place.
Yeah.
Especially there.
Moving on to the accessories page, I feel like we've probably said this a million times, but a lot of the options here, we typically like to advise to go with third-party stuff to just try and save money. That being said, there is the option to install this charger at home.
So you can, I think you can schedule it with a company and get someone to come out and actually install your wall box or your 240 line, which is really nice and convenient because I've definitely heard people not knowing who to go to get this installation. So either consult your electrician or your local dealer if they're going to give you a suggestion for who to install your box for you.
If I had to guess, this is probably the more expensive route to have BMW do it. So if you do know someone, I would advise reaching out to them.
Definitely.
All right, so that pretty much concludes this build. In summary, there are a lot of things that come standard with this car that I think are really important to bring up because they don't really mention it on the website because it's already built in. So they kind of are expecting you to know what's coming with it, but there's a lot.
Yes. So to start, just one thing you won't find anywhere on the site is the massage seats you will get, the ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, the heated armrest, and the radiant heating. So if you're cold, I don't know what to tell you in this car.
Yeah,
it's
this
insane.
thing's heated everywhere. This includes a 5G SIM card, which will replicate the SIM card in your phone, so that way you can still make phone calls without your phone if that just so happens to be the situation you're in.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
If you get your phone at home, just still be able to make calls, get calls. That's awesome.
That's pretty nice. Something else to mention is the laser lights that come with this. They're pretty cool. And the wheel turning. So the wheels actually, like all four of them, can turn to make really sharp turns.
Yeah. They also give you the air suspension with that four-wheel turning, just to give you a softer ride and to balance the battery out a little better. Plus, you will upgrade from the Harman Kardon sound system to the Bowers & Wilkins, which I've heard is incredible. The stereo itself actually lights up with your ambient lighting.
Wow.
So that's really cool.
Yep.
You get your panoramic moonroof, of course, which is standard on the 50 and the iX M60. And, that's just some of the highlighted features, but there's, a lot of things in here that you really would never miss out on because there's so many different options on the car.
Certain obvious features like, the big curved screen in the front or that wooden center console, stuff like that is just going to come standard with this.
Yeah, and then you also have the comfort access, which if you put your hands on the door, it unlocks, put your finger on it, it locks. Most cars standard obviously have that, but, $113,000 is better.
I was going to say, that being said, all for $110,000, I think this car is really nice. I mean, obviously, BMW at this price range is making super nice cars. They're trying to compete with themselves at this point, and I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and 3.6 seconds is nothing to joke about with this heavy of an SUV. I mean, that is insane.
We're getting to Tesla levels when you jump down into that 3-second range, so this thing is quick.
Yeah, I think this is something we could definitely, compare the iX M60 to the Tesla Plaid, the Model X Plaid.
Yeah.
Because even though the Plaid's going to be a little faster, the fit and finish of this, the cool options you can get, the heads-up display we didn't mention, something you can get. They've actually made it a lot bigger too, so you can see a huge screen in your glass.
Yeah.
Control your music, see navigation. Also, the augmented reality is included, where it shows the turn on the screen when you have a navigation point.
Right.
So tons of features to get and, super quick. So it's just all in one.
That being said, it is really pricey. So, if something is, too expensive here, I definitely would advise looking at the iX because that way you can pick and choose which of those features you do and don't need.
Exactly.
All right, so that about wraps up our build guide and rundown on the all-new iX M60. I think if price isn't really an issue for you, then this car is really good. This checks off pretty much all the boxes there is, and even includes the $7,500 tax credit still.
Yeah, save something even if you're spending that much money, right?
Right. I mean, if you need your tax credits, you can definitely still get it here.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, again, they're starting to release right now. So if you wanted to put an order in, I'm not sure how long it's going to take just with the world we live in.
Yep.
But if you have any questions, I know it's a little confusing with them not showing really any of the standard options on the website. So BMW does have to change up a little bit and get some of those options on there. But just leave them down in the comment section below. We'll do the research for you. We want to help you when looking for an EV to buy.
Yeah, let us know what you guys are trying to look for. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like and leave a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.
See you in the future.